Hey everyone, this is Kane Frequency here, and today we'll dive into how far the PS5 and its enormous size came from launch last year to its present point. This past year has been huge for the gaming space, with Nintendo iterating on the Switch for the fourth time, the launch of the Xbox Series X, and of course the PS5, along with a massive list of great games to play on all platforms, including some games I never thought would see the light of day on PC finally appearing. But in this video, I want to focus on the PS5 and see how its year has gone, and take a look toward the future of where the PS5 might be heading. So with that, let's take a look. The PlayStation's price came in high at $499.99, but the PS5's console launch didn't go at all like last generation's. There was a low stock everywhere. Finding one was a task in and of itself. I was lucky to secure mine from PlayStation Direct, and even then, they had us waiting in line online to hopefully buy one. Lines of people were waiting everywhere, from GameStop to Walmart to get one. Some were showing up on eBay for thousands. Scalpers and bots really took all the stock this year. There were also a large part of the stock shortages that plagued online retailers and brick and mortar stores. The other reason for the stock shortages can mainly be attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic, which is technically still going on and has affected every industry in the world. So I can cut Sony slack on the stock issue. The chip shortage is a very real problem, and one that may persist for some time. For the most part, many couldn't get their hands on a console, and ultimately that problem still persists a year out. Hopefully they'll be able to get that ironed out this holiday so more people that want one can actually get one. At launch, the games were terrific. We got Spider-Man Miles Morales, Demon's Souls Remake, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Call of Duty Cold War, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Sackboy's Big Adventure, Watch Dogs Legion. Also, don't sleep on Astro's Playroom. That was one of the best launch games to show off some of the DualSense's features, and it was genuinely a great game. From there, it becomes a little sparse from month to month, but it eventually picks up with some amazing games like Returnal, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Deathloop, and Kena. Most of these games that came out launch and the launch window were primarily great. Some games even got an update from PS4 to PS5 with upgraded graphics, features, and frame rates. Some of my favorites being Death Stranding, a weird game I know, but I enjoy it, and Final Fantasy VII Remake, which looks fantastic on the PS5 at 60 frames per second. There's still some more to come with Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Forspoken, and many, many more. Games take time to develop, especially with how large they are now. I would much rather a game take as long as it needs than end up like a particular game we all know.
Well, that's that.
The features of the PS5 are like a leaking faucet. It's just dripping really, really slow. It'll fill up the sink, but it'll take like 10 months to do it. Similarly to the PS4 launch and any subsequent year after that. Put simply, they wouldn't come all that often. With the PS4, we got a new OS and then crickets until 10 months later, and then poof, new features. Same with the PS5. We get a new OS and then poof, new features. From the beginning of launch till March, we got nothing except for the ability to store PS4 and PS5 games on an external drive, with PS4 games being playable, but for the PS5 games only being used for storage, which is nice but not what we wanted. Until about last month in September, when we finally got the functionality for the SSD card slot for more storage space, some new labels for PS5 and PS4 games, better trophy tracking, and some upgraded social features, and VRR still missing. I understand these things are hard to implement, just as hard as making games, but Microsoft had these features I just listed from the start. Of course, Microsoft has its own launch problems with the Xbox Series X, but I'll discuss that in another video. But the competition is implementing the same things you are, so the comparison is fair. I know Sony will get there eventually, just like they always have. I just wish they would give us some folders and themes. That's really all I want. I wanted to put the DualSense into its own explanation, because it's one of the most significant changes apart from the size of this thing. Sony made a step to rebranding their controllers from the DualShock to the DualSense. The name comes from the triggers and how they add resistance when pressed depending on what game you're playing. From drawing a bow in Kena to keeping your balance in Death Stranding, the triggers give you a feel of how the game's character is reacting to what you're doing. I think this was a welcome change to the controller and the immersiveness. I'm not really sure if that's a real word, but the implementation can be rated from non-existent to terrible to outstanding. I tend to believe most games stand between terrible to outstanding, with Astrobots being outstanding. Now, onto the problems with the DualSense. The battery life is still subpar compared to the DualShock 4, and maybe even worse. Sometimes I feel I can barely get 2 hours out of it. Not to mention the plaguing problem of stick drift, which I have to replace 2 controllers already for. It's a ridiculous problem and one that can't be ignored, especially when these controllers by Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo all cost over $50. Compared to the launch of the PS4, the PS5 is doing a good job of keeping up engagement with plenty of games to tide people over until the next big launch title. Although features are still coming slowly here and there, they are coming, just at a Sony pace, which is fine. I just want those themes and folders. The holiday season is just around the corner, and I hear they have more stock of the PS5 now than at launch. I just hope that anyone that wants one can get one, and please don't buy from scalpers. The PS5 is a great console and a good upgrade from the PS4. It's a worthy successor and one that I enjoy playing regularly. If you like this video, give it a like, comment, and think about subscribing. I'll see you all in the next video.